feel like this year's E3 is gonna be a lot quieter than usual.
I thought last year was already quiet too.
No, last year was like a really hype year because everyone was like, Anthem is the greatest shit ever. But here's the truth: we've all forgotten about Anthem because Warframe exists and is infinitely better. Speaking of shit that could be better but is actually shit, welcome to dia.log, this podcast.
I did not see that coming. And good thing we have that call open because the bit that I had prepared here would not work with our setup right now because everyone is a bit low in the mood.
Welcome to a very tired episode of dia.log. This is what happens when you've exhausted the dialogue options.
Yep, pretty much.
5 episodes in and we are running out of choices. So let's introduce the panel for this episode. First up, we have one Amirul aka Wam. Say hello, Wam. And next we have Daniel. Say hello.
Hi.
And that's our panel for this episode. Unfortunately,
moment of silence for Anan, who could not be here today.
Press F for respects to Anan, who did not make it for this episode of a casualty of many.
Okay.
You know, he told me he couldn't make it today. Because I was calling him and he was like, Wam, I don't feel so good. And then suddenly he hung up. So...
No context.
Ooh.
And I am your host, Amirul Mekronos Ashraf, and let's get this show on the road. Okay, it's gotten back into the script.
Yeah,
I mean, we'll make do. This is like the 5th episode, and we have our ups and downs. So
Mostly
it's
downs.
yeah, ups and downs.
Mostly downs.
It like an emotional roller coaster. So
this is the arc of the story where like we're separated, and then like in arc 3, Anan comes back, and he's got like 5 guests with him, and we have sponsors, and we have we're waiting for act 3. You know, when Anan comes back.
So yeah, just the 3 of us for this episode. And speaking of roller coaster rides, Wam, what have you been up to?
God, what have I been up to? I feel like we just recorded the last episode. Like I feel like not enough shit has happened in my life. My phone died. What is?
Press F to the
Press F again.
So is it downer already?
No. This story has there's a story element to this. So, little known fact. Whenever I have class at 8 in the morning, I wake up at 5 because traffic sucks. So what I do is I set my alarm for 4, and then I take a nap on my sofa and have another alarm to wake me up at 5. I set the alarm. I wake up. Like, I take a nap on the sofa, I wake up all of a sudden, and I go, wait, like, how come my alarm hasn't gone off yet? Like, it has to be 5 by now. I check, my phone is dead. And I'm like, oh no, so much of my shit is on my phone. What do I do about this? Finally, like, I talked to my mom, and she's like, oh yeah, we can get you a new phone after class or whatever. And I was like, cool. So I go to class, and then I tried everything to restart my phone. I plugged it in. I tried like restarting it. Nothing works. I get to uni. My friend's like, give me your phone. And suddenly she tries restarting it and it works. I'm convinced my phone is a fucking perv and just wanted to be touched by a girl instead.
Well, that is certainly right there.
Yeah, and then I watched Avengers twice. I don't know how. Wait. We have to set the rules here. Are we going to talk about Avengers this episode?
No.
Nope.
A hard no. Maybe the next episode.
Yeah, maybe next episode.
We start with the spoiler.
Yeah, we start spoiler, man.
No, because literally, like, I am not a very big Avengers fan. I thought Avengers 2 was crap. And so like that killed my enthusiasm for all future Avengers movies. And then but my entire uni has been like super hyped about Avengers. Like if you follow me on Instagram, I posted a video the other day where my classmates were all just engaged in this loud ass debate about Avengers.
Wow.
And then like it was two separate groups talking at the same time about their favorite superheroes and stuff. And one of them was like, "You, what did you think about Avengers?" And I was like, "Eh." And then they were like, "What do you mean, eh? Oh, you thought Avengers was eh?" And someone else was like, "It's Amiral. He thinks everything is eh, except for the shape of water, apparently." I'm like, "Yeah, good. That person has the right idea." So yeah, I am happy to not talk about Avengers because that's all I've heard about for the past week.
Good. How about we change our gears a bit?
Aduh.
Into something even more out of your will.
That gear shift was so bad that your partner crashed into you.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
No, you've Verstappen and I've Ricardo'd you. And let's talk about... We're supposed to talk about video games. Oh, I think we all have a shared interest on dia.log, the Gamer Matters podcast, on something called Formula 1.
Well, you guys do, and I'm
Yeah.
I guess. But
So, what happened at Baku actually?
I don't know. I didn't watch the race. I watched you guys watch the race. Like I just followed you guys on Twitter, and that's Daniel explained.
So basically, this is your indirect experience with watching F1.
Yeah.
I mean, the race is pretty much a roller coaster ride of emotions. Daniel, can you talk us through what happened at Baku?
Okay, so before we start, there's a meme in the F1 community that we call it "Well Done Baku," because in the first season, that they plastered the whole track with "Well Done Baku," so it's sort of a mantra. If you see, is that if there's a good race, we'll call it "Well Done." So, insert a track name here. So for this year's edition, they deserve that title of "Well Done Baku" once again.
Well done, Baku.
Wait, so is Baku like the city, or?
Yeah, it's the Azerbaijan capital city.
Ah, well done, Baku.
Yep. So, it's from you can watch it on YouTube because the start is just crazy, and the end after the two Red Bulls crash together is also crazy.
Yeah, that's the most anime thing ever. Like you were stopped by your teammate crashing into you.
That's so bad. I was like watching. I was like, no, you can't be serious. Come on, lah.
And there's a lot of lucky and unlucky moments. Outside of the two Red Bulls crashing, people crashing onto walls. That's a thing.
So basically, the first time is just a bumper car race.
Basically, Forza in a nutshell.
Yeah, pretty much. It's online racing in a nutshell, basically. See? It has to do with games.
Oh, what if they weren't actually people in those cars? They were trying like drone cars. They were secretly trying drone cars. So actually, all the drivers are just back at the pit stop, like controlling via console.
I mean, you joke about it, but there is a movement that are trying to do that kind of thing.
Here's the thing: if we do drone racing, then make more stupid race tracks since we don't have to worry about people dying. I want loop-de-loops, and I want
full-on Hot Wheels. Go!
Yeah.
I want real-life Hot Wheels racing if we're gonna use drone cars.
After this podcast, Google Robo Race. That's basically what you're talking about.
Oh man, I will look up Robo Race. That sounds like something amazing that is going to happen. And then we can finally get our final goal will be real life All-Star Sonic Racing.
Ah, yes.
We finally managed to get
Oh
that
my God.
in. Remember, our mission in Gaming Matters is to promote and legitimize the esports that is Sonic and All Stars Racing. Or whatever the new game that's coming out. That should
They're
be.
not making a new game. It's like TF2, you know, they know they'll never make a game better than this, so they're just gonna stick with it.
But yeah, and also, F1 2015, last time during the weekend at Baku, it was free again. It was weird because it was also free during the opening race,
Start of the season.
the start of the season in
Yeah.
Australia, right? So
Yep.
if you still haven't got it F1 2015, probably it will be free again. And what, Monaco? Because street tracks?
Monaco.
Uh,
Isn't
Thinking some
Monaco the
stories from
one?
Monaco. Uh.
Isn't Monaco the one where all the cars like just piled on each other?
No, that's Macau.
Ah,
That's Asian Monaco.
no, Asian Monaco is Hong Kong. Like that's where rich people go.
Nah, not in motorsports.
Oh, okay. Speaking of F1 though, my friend and I had a very interesting discussion because we were talking about K-pop groups and how like everyone thinks K-pop groups are like, oh, I really want to be an idol, and it's, you know, it's all about you. But the truth is, K-pop is a competition between rich corporations who just hire idols. So it's basically the F1 of music. Like it's really about five
Oh.
rich people just
my
competing
God.
with each other.
That actually makes sense.
capitalism.
Capitalism.
It really is though, because like if you look at the non-fangirls, like the non-fangirls and fanboys, like the people who are not religiously devoted to one group, you'll realize that they see things as the labels. They'll be like, oh yeah, this is a YG group. This is how that group acts. This is an SM group. Of course they're gonna act like this. Oh, what's SM doing this year? Oh, these groups are getting. It literally is just F1 but idols. Which is why we need F1 idol anime. Love Drive, man. It needs to happen.
Kickstarted it.
God. Oh man, F1 idol management sim. That'd be so great.
Well,
Your driver needs to go for concerts and races, but they'll be too tired to do both. So you have to
man,
you have to manage it.
you are putting idols in dire situations.
Listen, man. Oh, it's just like speaking of idols, like I discovered J idol. Her name is Kafka Shishido, if I remember correctly, and she plays the drums. Like live
cool.
on stage, she plays the drums while singing, and God, I'm so turned on looking at that. Like, God damn, that is amazing. Like, it's not just like, you know, the happy, smiley tapping two different. She's like going hardcore, and I'm like, God damn, you beautiful woman. Yeah. Welcome to dia.log, the idol podcast. We talk about idols.
I mean, we can go all over the place until we get that sort of rhythm going in. And so, the next topic, because we have talked about the state of capitalism ruining the idol industry and how idols are being overworked, how about the other way around? Where not pretty people are putting in dire consequences and doing terrible, terrible jobs. So I played Frostpunk.
Politics?
You can say that, but also Frostpunk. So, in case you haven't heard of it, this is the next game by 11-bit Studios, the team behind This War of Mine. This War of Mine is that strategy game where you play as a civilian settlement and you have to manage the people, the civilians that are caught up in between wars. It's basically a game with a strong message. And Frostpunk,
What's the message?
war sucks. Well,
Good message.
I mean, you can't argue with that. And Frostpunk has a strong message too, which is how far would you push to ensure you survive? Because in Frostpunk, it's a steampunk world. You play in somewhere around in probably somewhere in England. All the people are talking in British, and it's basically steampunk, 19th century steampunk. But the whole world is you say is gone into this state of very cold winter, where basically the game starts at negative 20 degrees Celsius and it doesn't go higher than that. It keeps on getting worse. And so you have these like big generators that people it's basically set up that the some of the pockets of civilization thought of the upcoming apocalypse, the eternal winter or something like that. So they put up these giant generators, and so you can see that the place where you have to control is a city builder. So basically, the center of the city is that big generator, and the whole place is basically looks like a crater, but it's basically not a crater. Those walls used to be forests that got cold, so cold they turned ice. Okay, so far so great.
So are those all like resources you have to collect?
Yeah, so basically you have to survive the cold by digging up coal to get the generator running, and then you need to find wood to build resources, to build buildings, get more tools, and steel also. So wood and steel. So those two resources are for building material and also for research. And then you have to consider food. So you have to hunt or grow food and then have another place to cook them to turn into rations. So there's a lot of things to juggle, and also you are this they call you the like in the first scenario in the game, you are basically a captain of this small pocket of settlement, and your job is to manage the discontent and hope. So there's two other meters to juggle aside from the resources. So if people are not happy, like they don't get their food or it's too cold, they'll get discontent. And if bad things happen, they will lose hope. So if discontent goes too high or your hope, the people's hope goes too low, they will issue an ultimatum where if you do not satisfy their say if the hope is too low, you need to increase it to a certain level. If the discontent is too high, you need to lower it back to a certain level. If not on time, you will be banished. How do you do that? One thing, politics. You do get certain time like in certain situations, the people will ask you, Captain, can we get our beds heated? Get up some hot, get the heat generators up and running again. Something like that. So you can promise them to, okay, I will heat up at least 2 of the beds. Or you can go over ambitious and say, I will heat up all the beds and give you more. So if you basically fulfill the promise, hope is risen. But if you fail, discontent will go high and hope will go down. So it's a lot of micromanaging stuff, and also there's also the heat thing. The thing is, if you put your workers to work way outside of the ring of heat around the generator, they will get cold. And if they get too cold, they can get frostbite. And when they got frostbitten, they lose limbs. And the next part is what makes Frostpunk a bit different from other city builders is that you can enforce laws. Basically, these kind of laws all of them are pretty much bad if you consider our normal society norms lah. Because I'll give you an example. one of the laws is to make sure your food rations, you can increase the output of food rations. But the choice you have here is either to make only soup, and people don't like soup, apparently. They will get discontent if they eat soup. But you'll get more food. Or you could put in sawdust into the food to make the meals feel more full, but at the risk of getting the people sick.
Very good choices there.
Yeah. And then you get to put the children to work. Do you want to put child labor or not?
It's the apocalypse, of course.
The rational reason is, of course, you have to put, because if those children are idle, they are basically just more mouths to feed and doesn't contribute to the to the city building. So it gets rough. And then there's another thing. You could put in a cemetery, so people won't lose too much hope when one of them die. Or you could just put a burial ground, so you can just lump the bodies into a snow pit. So you could use it later to make fertilizers.
Why isn't there an incinerator? Why can't this be like Judge Dredd, where you just recycle them by putting them into an incinerator, and then you use the heat to save everyone? Look, guys, grandma's last present to society was warm.
No, because they have coal. Because they have coal. But that choice should be an option because it totally fits the game. So basically, the game keeps on getting darker and darker as you go. Because like in the first scenario itself, there will be one particular scripted point where people will discover that there are other pockets of settlement, like the place that you have here, but those settlements have already fallen, and one of the survivors just came by into your city only to warn that that city is fallen and died. And people will just, we lose hope, we can't survive this, we have to turn back home, we have to go back to London. And then you have a choice. How do you want to bring up hope? Either you go, I forgot the terms, but it's basically boiled down to, do you want to run an how do you pronounce that? Basically communism, or a religious cult? Authoritarian rule or religious rule. So it basically sounds like the word choice is that it doesn't sound like diabolical at first, but it gets dark really fast. I didn't expect that when I first ran. Okay, let's go to the religious route, because of course this is going to be dark. But the first two choices are very, very, inspiring. You can put shrines to make people more hopeful at the workplaces. You can build churches for them to get sermons, so there'll be less discontent. Sounds fine. And then you start employing peacekeepers that will beat down civilians that are unrest. And then people call you the supreme leader, and the hope meter becomes devotion, because you are the hope that the people needs, not anything else. The hope meter is now blackened. You will not be fired or be banished. Either way, people will be 100% devoted to you and your rule. And if anyone is unhappy, you can burn it on the incinerator.
Whoops, I become a cop.
Yeah, an evil pope.
Listen, man, if the world is dying, maybe we need an evil pope.
Yeah, or an evil communist leader. Same things happen. You can put propagandas. You can put in a propaganda center. I mean, you can have a prison to beat up any miscreants. You can put like loudspeakers to make people work harder. Shout to them, work harder, work harder. And there's a lot of small bits that change. When you walk either path, like in general, when the sun rises on the first day on the morning, you will hear like someone calling out, get up there, time to earn your bread. So basically, it's time to work lah. But when you go
Yeah.
into the communism route, the voice becomes a speaker. Let's go to work. We go. We march. Something like that. And of course,
Nice.
the cult rule is of course all praise our glorious leader. It goes that route, man. It really feels like, oh man, what have I done? But hey, the
Is
buildings
there
look cool.
any non-shit? Yeah, I saw the screenshots. The buildings look amazing.
Mhm.
Is there any non-shitty things you can do? Like, or do you always end up authoritarian / space pope?
For that particular scenario, the main game, you could pick either path, but of course you can choose not to elect any of the laws. So you can basically just, no, I don't want any of this, and just play like I want to be. The way, but the problem is those things have lot of benefits, and when the choice comes, you will have to at that particular moment you will have to deal with a separatist faction, the Londoners. So each time that each each day, if people are in that city feel discontent, the number of these Londoners will rise. So when you reach the time, there's a specific time where they will just pack their bags and go off. Sometimes you can lose like 20 people. If you're not careful, you could lose 100 of them, and 100
Oh, can
100
you
people.
stop them?
How you stop them? Well, the religious rule and the communist rules.
Aduh.
You have to play the bad guy if you want to win this.
That's interesting. That's very interesting. How much is this game on Steam, anyways?
51 ringgit.
51.
And so far it's pretty good in terms of the building aspects. I really like it because of course it's pretty much limited, but you look at how the city is built. Like it builds around the sphere. It sprawls around that sphere of the generator, right? It looks freaking brilliant when you started to have like 20 or 30 buildings around this ring of generator. It looks freaking brilliant. And there's a lot of
That
good writing as well.
sounds. This is like how much. Like your biggest threats are the hope and despair thing, right?
And
Like you don't have to worry so much about wood and steel.
oh, those things you have to worry as well. There's a lot of things to manage, and of course the cold, because as I said, you can get your workers amputated if you're not careful. But you can also research prosthetics to put prostheses onto your amputated people. There's a lot of really interesting mechanics to play around. And of course, there's a lot of other things that I haven't touched. Like you can scout for materials, and then you can go back. And then there's automatons, which is basically like giant robots with long legs. Think of something like from Half-Life or Dishonored.
Yeah, the tall boys.
Something like that, which can also assist in production. And if you research the right technologies, they'll be much more efficient than your typical workers or children.
Yeah, man. Everyone knows giant robots are better than children.
Yeah, and of course there are a few other scenarios where like there are three scenarios. One of them is focusing a lot of building those automatons. So you don't have a lot of people coming in, but you have to manage how you control these giant robots to do most of the work.
Wait, are they automatons or do they have people inside them?
Automatons. So they are not controlled.
Nice.
It in some part is still a steampunk game. So a lot of there's a building that I didn't notice at first, but suddenly, oh, blimps can come up and fly over. Yeah, it's interesting.
We don't have heat to keep you warm, but here's a blimp. That sounds great.
The priorities.
I mean, the tech level is pretty weird. I mean, you have factories that are powered by steam and everything, and then you can build these weird machines that can work freely with AI. It's cool. It's
But we're
pretty cool.
still steam powered. That's amazing.
And yeah,
No, continue.
so yeah, there's a lot of good writing there, and the only issue I have is that there's no sandbox mode.
Aww.
Not yet, at least, because the developers are promising that they will be adding more content after launch, because they've already broke even in just like 3 days. They've sold
Yeah, I heard
250,000 copies.
That's really good. I like hearing smaller studios break even. That's really good. Yeah.
Yeah, and that is Frostpunk. Seriously, if you are into city builders, in particular, if you have tried or played Banished, that was our first game that we reviewed on Gamer Matters back when it was still Gamer Malaya Bahasa Inggeris, Gamer Malaya English. So this should be up your alley, because it is complex and can be demanding, but once you figured everything out, it's totally satisfying to balance all the numbers. And the writing's good, man. Especially the ending. You get to see a time lapse of your building, of your city, and have all your choices being it's like a Telltale game where the choices get displayed during the end. Similar like that.
Oh, is it like Democracy Tree, where like you just have random events and be like, hey, this thing is happening. Should we A or should we B?
There's a lot of those kinds of events as well. And some of them you have no good choice. Either you, for example, one of the choices that can happen is you want to increase discontent slightly, or do you want hope to fall slightly? Both are bad. Choose one.
It's interesting that hope and discontent are two separate meters instead of being like one thing that you have to balance.
Yeah. It plays out really well once you've reached to the end of for the first scenario, the end of the communist or religious tree. It suddenly becomes something else. It has a cool moment there. So yeah, that's Frostpunk to you. And it's pretty good. Pretty good.
Before we move on to our next topic, I just want to say, because I always check Twitter in case we have any breaking news. And the number one tag worldwide is hashtag #UoMiniDon. I should look up what that means.
UoMini. What now?
Yeah, it's a TV show, I think. It's some kind of Spanish TV show. Anyways, the reason I bring this up is because I read it as Indomie, and I'm hungry now. So that happened.
The religious cult of Indomie. As long as you don't put sawdust into it, it's okay. It's fine.
God. Anyways, if we're talking about games we played this week, I played 2 games. I played 2 games this week. Gonna talk about the first one because I don't know how long I can talk about it, but it should not be as long as Frostpunk because I didn't play it that much. It's called Monster Prom.
All right. And
I have 3 words for you to try and sell you on this game, right? I have 3 words to sell you on this game. Competitive dating sim.
Huh?
Wait, you what now?
It's a competitive dating sim. Also, you've deleted the docket. Yeah. It's
I was too shocked.
you have 4 players, like up to 4 players, like play the same dating sim, and then you answer a bunch of random questions to determine your stats, and you have to pick where to spend your time, like a normal dating sim. You go to class or you go to the library or whatever, and you keep developing relationships with all these different characters. You have random events and shit, and then at the end of the game, you pick someone to go to prom with, and depending on how well you've done, they'll either say yes or no. So I'm planning to write a review. So I've been like inviting people to play online via Google Hangouts, because you can all play like with only one copy of the game. Because most of my friends who like dating sims don't have Steam, so that's why I play via Google Hangouts.
Oh,
But
so
yeah,
it is multiplayer.
It is multiplayer. You can also play online multiplayer, but
Oh,
it is really fun. We should do a Gamer Matters Goes to Monster Prom session, because the story changes every time. Like the events are also randomized. Some NPCs don't appear always. Like my favorite one is this dude called the Interdimensional Prince. And he doesn't even go to the school that you're in. He just kind of hangs out there, and he keeps trying to marry random people.
I'm sorry.
It's just
Talk about that,
apparently
right?
like from what I haven't seen, like I haven't played enough of the game to figure out what his deal is. But from what I understand, he just keeps trying to marry people. Like, he's a prince, so he's like, oh, I need someone to rule my kingdom with. There's one of my friends like did an event with him, and she became his royal treasury advisor, so she stole all his money.
Oh,
Okay.
It's super great. And then my favorite thing, like I make it a house rule when I play with my friends, you have to declare who you're going for at the start of the game, just so that everyone gets super salty when they don't get who they want.
okay.
Like the characters are all super cute in this game, and so I wanted to get with the mermaid princess because she's hella cute. Gotta go for that Himedere. And then I kept getting the werewolf jock instead. Like everywhere I went, there he was. And so my friends were like, "Oh my god, you're a furry magnet." I'm like, "No." God
Okay,
damn, I had to turn him down.
What sort of other monsters that you can basically go prom to here? You said
The
wolves?
basic ones. There's a werewolf dude.
Mm-hmm.
There's a hipster vampire.
Alright.
There's a really hot Gorgon lady. Like, goddamn. Tsundere Gorgon lady. A Himedere mermaid. Party girl ghost. Satan.
Alright, Satan himself. Alright.
Satan.
No need for introduction. We will get to know him later. Probably no.
Yes,
Cakap je bahasa
mermaid
Melayu.
girl. No. It's like this, like mermaid girl, Laura Booth. Oh yeah, Satan. Hi.
Yeah. Those are all the basic ones, I think. Those are all the ones I saw. And then I know there's a bunch of secret characters. Like there's a demon hunter, there's the interdimensional prince, there's a blob, there's a shop that you can go.
Alright. Just a blob.
Just a blob.
Is
There's
it
a
gender
shop
neutral?
lady that- I have no idea. I haven't seen the blob anywhere. Apparently, there's an eldritch horror as well. I
Oh,
definitely
cool.
want to get the eldritch horror. So
I laugh too hard, didn't it?
yeah, Meck laughed so hard he broke the recording.
Oops.
Ghost of Anan was not pleased, which I do want to bring up. Last episode we had the technical difficulties. That was amazing. I watched just to see how you guys would patch that up.
Yeah,
The
and also another extra scene too because it was also too spicy. Let's just say that. Let's just say that. So yeah, Monster Prom. I'm
Monster Prom,
sold.
yeah.
How much is
Yeah,
it?
it's got it was like 25 ringgit around there.
Wait, 25?
Yeah, 75 on sale.
We are in the age of very good PC games that are
Yeah.
super affordable, man. Good.
Yeah, that's why like I made my New Year's resolution to not like to look for more of these kinds of games where like they're smaller games and they don't cost as much, but they're really good. Like holy shit, I literally wish I wasn't so busy this week so that I could organize more Monster Prom sessions with my friends. It's just because it's a really fun game. It has like two modes. It has a short game and a long game mode. So the long game mode is supposed to be like 2 hours long, whereas more than 2 hours long, whereas the short game is like an hour and a half.
Okay, time to grab ourselves 4 copies of the game then. For multiplayer.
Like I said, yeah, you can play like online multiplayer, or you can be cheap like me and do Google Hangout sessions. Play that
That's interesting.
because it's not like there's no reflexes or anything involved. So it's just like you just tell the person who owns the game what to click.
Oh, okay. So you can technically play like that online. Alright.
Yeah, but if you have 4 people who are willing to buy the game, support the devs because this is a really good game.
I mean,
What
you-
kind of hurts me is that like a few years ago, like I wanted to make a similar game. Like I made a prototype board game that was very similar in concept. Like the idea of okay, you have all these people. I didn't think it out nearly as well as these guys did.
Okay. Well, that is interesting to hear. And
Yeah.
well, unfortunately, it all goes downhill from here because
Yeah, we have no. Wait, let me introduce the next topic because every great story has its art. Like every great hero has their arch nemesis, right? And what's the most dramatic thing that could happen to a hero after defeating their arch nemesis? It's the return of the arch nemesis. And just like that, Detroit Become Human, the playable demo, is out.
and I had to give it a go once again because I just need to. I just need to because remember that we've talked about this on the first episode of dia.log, the Gaming Matters podcast.
And and we talked about it a lot more off camera too.
The problem is a lot of the good conversation we had was off camera. By the time the first episode of our podcast was up, it was like few months back, like
Yeah.
a long time after we've played the game, which I misremembered a lot of things. So I need to set the record straight for some things, and of course I have now revised my opinion of Detroit. Spoiler alert, I'm still not sold. But I can acknowledge that they have made some good progress here and there. So first thing, I forgot that it was only heavy rain that you press R2 to walk. That was awkward, but it doesn't
You
mean
press
that
R2 to walk. What?
Yeah.
literally tank controls.
Ooh.
But Detroit, no, you control it with the left analog stick, but it still feels like a tank because you know how you want when games want to make a realistic movement for the human characters or androids in this case. You have this kind of inertia where it'll take a bit more time to turn or just to lean your body a bit to go to the left or right a bit and take a lot more time to like turn around. It feels bad. So if a lot, even though
Uh,
the scenario of the demo is the one that they have been demoing for quite some time, including during last year's PSXC, I still
mhm.
find the controls fiddly because if I stream my gameplay, it will just me bumbling about, hugging the walls, cannot really walk straight, and the camera also is a bit weird. It's not over your shoulder, but it's a bit further back, and a lot of times your character will be out of camera when you pan down or pan right or left, which feels weird. I, uh, it doesn't stick with me in terms of controls. It's still bad, and the button prompts. The button prompts, you have to do half circles, basically doing Hadoukens without the punch. It sounds.
The punch.
Wouldn't that be great if you have to play as a robot who has to Hadouken his way through society?
Don't give
That's much
ideas.
better.
Don't give ideas because David Cage's first game actually had fighting game mechanics and it was bad.
I mean, you could say that about any David Cage game, though. Like I've heard some shit about David Cage games.
Okay, back on topic. So basically, the concept is good because it means that you have to commit first. Like pulling down, so you commit on oh, I want to interact with this item, so you pull down, and then you commit again by turning the analog stick quarter circle up. So it sounds good on paper, but the problem is that you do that motion using the right analog stick, and what does the right analog stick do? Camera controls. Imagine there were a lot of times where I want to interact with this item, but I was not in the sweet spot for the triggers to happen. I pull the analog stick down a bit early, and the camera went haywire. Which turned me up. Like I lost direction. It turned the camera down, and then I pull back right. Oh, the camera turned down. No, I want to interact with this item. Patah balik. And then when you get to once you commit to the action, when you get that right analog stick down, there's also this. I don't think this is a good move in my personal opinion because the camera cuts into a new angle, and when the camera cuts into a new angle, the button prompts layout is also changed in terms of the angle where you see it. So sometimes when I say I want to press the button down, and then the camera change, oh, where's the button prompt? Oh, I lift up the analog stick, and then okay, so repeat again. Oh, okay, this is where the button prompt. Now I can turn around. It's not that if you are intuitive enough with the motion, you will not think about it. But for me, it keeps being a distraction.
I feel like that's a very poor excuse. Like, oh, if you're in tune with it, but yeah, of course. If you write gibberish, you'll understand gibberish. That's the same. Like, yeah, that sounds very, very like difficult.
And then you also have this is you play as I forgot the name. I think the name is Connor. This Android creative.
Yeah, Connor.
Alright,
Yeah.
good. At least I don't screw up yet. Outside of that that censored part. Okay. So he is investigating this hostage situation. So the thing is, you have to do a lot of pixel hunting. So you approach this sort of this part of the scene. Find the interactable. Fine. Okay, hold that button. Hold. Repeat ad nauseum. It is fun for the first few times, but as I replayed over and over again to get other decisions, it overstays the welcome lah. I don't think I want to play the whole game doing these sort of things again and again and again.
Yeah, that was my thing. Like, it feels good in that size chunk. I can't imagine it as a whole.
Kan? And at least the biggest difference of this demo compared to the demo builds before is they actually showed the flowchart. You know how when during the Detroit trailers, like at the end, or they show like, oh, this is the flowchart, or this decision can happen if you put this decision, something like that, right? That is
Yeah.
actually a very visual thing that you can check and see all the paths that you can take during that scene. It's pretty cool. It's basically that the telltale. You can see like in telltale games, you can see okay what decisions that other players make, kan? But now you see it like in a full flowchart, so you can see from the beginning of the scene how many people did this, how many people took the gun, how many people failed the conversation, how many people shoot the gun, how many people sacrifice themselves. So it in terms of like if you want to search for the alternative routes, it makes it more visual, and you can see a lot of there's a lot of icons showing, oh, this part is the game changer. So basically if you do this action, something will affect later in the game. I think that's pretty cool. At least that it has that going for it.
That's really cool. My friend sent me an image the other day. I'm looking it up now. Because we were talking about David Cage, because he was saying that there's like rumors or reports, I don't know, that David Cage
Reports.
like working with reports that David Cage is not the best person to work with, and
What a surprise!
yeah, and then so he was saying that like it might be easier for me to just Google this. He was saying that, oh, you know, how can I be a shitty person because I'm friends with Ellen Page?
Judge me by judge me by my work. I think the quote goes.
And then so someone found this photo, and you know that I'm putting it in the Discord chat. You can put it up on the thing.
Hold on.
And this should tell you about how that relationship works.
Oh, this picture. Ha ha ha. Hold on. Before I continue to laugh, and I should not laugh too much or it will break the stream again. Let me get this over with. Yeah, no. Okay, so this is a promo picture of Beyond Two Souls, the game that we did not get for PlayStation Plus Asia this month, but the rest of the world is getting.
We got Heavy Rain, right?
We got Heavy Rain the other month. So
I mean, could it really be said to be winning if we got a David Cage game for PlayStation Plus? I don't think so somehow.
But Malaysians love them though.
I'm pretty surprised that people are pissed off because of that. I'm pretty happy that we didn't get that actually. Okay, so back to the image. Is a very happy David Cage and a stern look. A very, very stern and disconcerted look by Ellen Page and Willem Dafoe over the side. I mean, this is the sadness.
This is literally me every time someone tries to explain to me that David Cage is the greatest shit to ever happen to video games. I'm like, are you sure? Are you sure?
Game over is the failure of game design.
Wait, so this is our cover of the podcast, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely.
I mean, put in some crazy, and I need to somehow find an eldritch horror there.
God.
It will be part of the thumbnail. For sure.
I still remember last year when they had an interview with David Cage on the PlayStation blog, and so they were like, "Oh, we talk to David Cage about what it's like making the most human-like android ever in Detroit Becoming Human," and I replied to the tweet with, "But 2B isn't in Detroit Becoming Human."
It's good.
It's true, man. Nier Automata is a better android becoming human game than Detroit. I've even played Detroit, and I can tell you it's probably true, just because Nier is a great game, and you don't move like a brick in that game.
And the only thing that I can, the few things that I can say that Detroit do good, I mean, is that one, the cinematic storytelling is, they nailed that part. Not the writing, but the cinematic story, as in the how they frame the whole situation, the graphics, the animation qualities. That they nail it correctly, and that should be applauded. And next is, of course, what I said about the flowchart. So basically, if you are one of those people who like to see alternate routes, you can easily now check and find all of the routes.
But can you do that in the full game? Like, wouldn't that be kind of spoilery? I guess it's only after your first playthrough, is it?
Yeah, so basically the flowchart is only highlights or what the actions that you have discovered. So the actions that you did not discover yet will be just grayed out, but you can see, oh, there is a different option to, or there is a different way of how the scene unravels. So basically, like the end of the hostage scene, there was like 6 ways it can end. I only managed to figure out 2. One is having, this should not be a spoiler, yeah, right?
No.
I already played it, so tak apa.
I can see that people already 100% and saw all the scenes, so mantap kau lah.
It's
So
a
screw you
demo.
guys.
It's whatever, yeah.
So basically, one of the scene, the most, what I believe to be the most popular route was Connor pushing the deviant android down, and both fall to their death.
Yeah, I got that one.
Yeah, and the other is basically how did I don't know. So how did okay? So Connor pushed that deviant android, but he got shot. He didn't fall down, but he got shot. So basically, when the girl saw the Connors being so you say when the android died, it's just like frozen solid. The girl go so those 2 enemies that I got, I could not figure out for the life of me could not figure out how to get the gun, and I refused to play all of the pixel hunt sections again and again, so I just gave up. I got too many of the falling down.
Wait, did you check the iPad?
I've checked already. No. The problem is, to get the point where you can use the gun, you need to do all of the pixel hunting again. Also with the iPad and stuff. So I don't have time for that. I don't have time for that.
Are you sure? I did it in like 8 minutes. I did it during the demo, all of it, like 8 minutes flat.
I know I can speed run it, but I don't have time for that. I'm already tired. I've played 3 or 4 times and already okay, screw it. That's it. I saw 3 same endings, so screw it.
Is it a like limited time demo?
No, you can just keep on playing it over and over until that demo goes down. So for now, yeah, if you are still curious about Detroit Become Human, go download it. It's still up there. And you can play it over and over and over again. So,
although be advised, by like the 4th playthrough will take like about 24 hours because that's how slow the game is.
it's one of the games that I like to see people suffer through, but not suffer through myself.
I think it's gonna be like Until Dawn for me, where I just cannot watch people play it just because like I get too annoyed. I'm like, no, I want to see what this is. I want to see what this does. And then the game moves so slow. I'm just like, maybe not.
Can. Well, how about something that moves a bit slow but packs a punch?
That could be anything compared to Detroit Becoming Human. So I'm gonna use this to talk about BattleTech.
Before that, guys, the trailer for Red Dead Redemption 2 is now out. So
out now. Okay,
yeah, now.
Decision time. Do we want to do a live reaction now, or we talk about Battletech?
Let's do live reaction.
Okay.
Like, cut out the part where we watch it, and then like just go straight to like when we've seen it. And we're back. So we've all seen the trailer. What does everyone think?
So far, so Rockstar.
I don't know. I've never played any previous Rockstar games, but was GTA 5 the first Rockstar game to have a really good like single player story?
I would say 4 nailed it. But
Yeah, 4 nailed it.
in terms of going like they ditch a lot of the campy, funny stuff and go way over serious about the game, the story side of things. GTA 5 brings back the campiness a bit if we are picking bones, where it still delivers that sort of cinematic experience that people really
I was really
wanted.
surprised that I was really surprised GTA 5 had such a good like, single player experience. Like the whole use of the character switching and stuff was really cool.
Oh man, that character switching is just that's the icing on the cake of the story. So
Also, I was gonna say I like the campiness because I think for GTA specifically the campiness works because it's like so modern. My favorite still is legalize Proposition 24, legalize cocaine.
Oh yeah, that one.
But yeah, so this trailer it looks really good. Like the GTA 5, the good shit from GTA 5 is in this game, like decent facial animation and yeah.
yeah, the thing so apparently it probably is a bit too early for them to go into the sort of breakdown trailer where like in GTA 5 how they introduce GTA Online and all the mechanics of GTA 5, they have these
Yeah.
voiceovers and oh, we have character switching. Look at this how this is in action. And then how they
Yeah.
tease, oh, you can play GTA Online, but we'll talk about that later. I really wanted to see that kind of trailer, but a story trailer like this, sure, it keeps the
Yeah.
fans of the series a bit more hyped.
And probably around E3, they will announce it, I think.
Yeah. It's don't expect anything important to come out this close to E3, I guess.
Yeah, so far looking good. Not much to say.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's Red Dead. It's what you expect. It's cowboys.
I mean, it is Red Dead Redemption. I have to clarify, because
Oh,
because Red Dead Revolver is another thing.
how different are they? I thought they were still the same type of game.
Oh,
But
totally different. Like for Red Dead Redemption has this like the tone that we have seen, right, where it's really grounded, really realistic, right? Whereas in Red Dead Revolver, it was campy to the max because that project was supposed to be. It used to be a Capcom published game, and it got into development hell, and then Rockstar bought the studio that is now become Rockstar San Diego, and they managed to ship out the game. So it has this blend of real serious Western action and some weird campy moments, because I remember that one of the boss fights was someone pulling out a coffin and there's a machine gun in it.
Desperado style.
It is campy. I like it, no?
you can't make your own character in Red Dead Redemption.
No, I think no.
God damn it! Because if you could, I would want to make Will Smith and just have Wild Wild West play well.
That's what RDR Online is for.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
Adia Online. That should be a
Yeah, if I
should
get
be a
the
good
game, that's what
idea.
I'm gonna do. I'm gonna name myself Jim West Desperado.
Good God.
Cole Rider. No, you don't want none of this. 6 running this. I can't remember the rest of the rap. But any damsel that's in distress, be out of that dress when she meet Jim West.
Good stuff, good stuff.
God.
Yeah, I'm curious because Red Dead Redemption I unfortunately did not manage to play until the finish. I like play like the first few hours, and then university happened. So yeah, I never had the chance to revisit again. So Red Dead Redemption 2 on PS4 and Xbox One, pretty neat. I'm certainly excited to check it out. Whatever it is, I'm still waiting for gameplay more.
I mean,
Nah.
it's Rockstar gameplay. You know, it's over the shoulder. Everything's gonna slow down when you aim down sights, and yeah.
Yeah, I'm waiting for
Wait,
them.
maybe first person? Since they did it in GTA 5.
Oh yeah, but first person. Oh, I
On
thought
the
first person was only on PC.
and PS4
Oh.
and Xbox One.
Oh yeah. Okay, yeah.
So
It was
yeah.
just not on 360.
So yeah, like GTA 5's like character switching mechanic was totally unexpected. Even though there were rumors, and I think there were rumors, but still, it was something out of. You don't expect a GTA to put those kind of mechanics. So I don't know. Maybe Red Dead Redemption has something up its sleeves, because you can see the whole story is still focused on the whole Vanderlinde gang. That's multiple characters. You know, things can happen. I'm waiting to see what they'll do. Okay, so speaking of waiting things to do, I'm waiting for Wams to put a segue into the topic that we have stopped.
Oh yeah, we were talking about Battletech before this came up.
Yeah.
I'm literally waiting for you to make that to make the segue because you did it first.
Yeah. So
Okay.
Battletech, Meck bought me Battletech to play, and here's why I wish Anan was here, because I feel like he would enjoy this story. Battletech is available for both PC and Mac. For those of you that don't know, I dual boot my iMac so that I can play Warframe. But so I was too lazy to boot my PC, so I was like, I'll just install it on my Mac. Played it on Mac, it was nigh unplayable on potato settings. Like I kept getting graphical glitches. Like I had these black squares appearing, and early in the game, there's a huge like set piece explosion, and it broke the game. Play after that.
Basically,
So
you
then
are battling with tech to get Battletech
Yeah,
running.
Yeah, that's
That's
exactly
not a
what happened.
segue, but I'll take it.
It's a delayed segue to a topic we're already talking. Yes. So then I rebooted in PC mode and installed it on my PC and updated my graphics driver and all that. You don't realize how outdated it is until you have to go to the NVIDIA website to look for the driver and scroll all the way to the bottom.
Yikes.
Like, yeah, so I downloaded the new driver. Works great on my PC. God, do I suck at this game.
Okay, so let's talk about Battletech game.
Yeah, now. So, for those of you who don't know, Battletech is a tactical, like turn-based tactics game. You control a bunch of mechs. You fight your enemies, and you also have to manage your mercenary companies. Turns out, the Mobile Suit Gundam school of mech combat in Battletech, like having half your squad die in every mission, is not financially viable because I keep having to hire new mercenaries because I killed off half. On top of that, you have bills to pay. But gets injured, you have to recover. My character, I've been for 2 months. Russia dude down. And I was playing before we started the podcast, and it was just, it's, oh my, ends meet. I have to take missions and run like junker mechs, essentially. I keep getting all these warnings like, hey, this gun doesn't work. And I'm like, yeah, that sounds about right. So yeah, that's happening. I found a video that had like 5 tips for Battletech. You can turn off weapons in that game because if your mech overheats, you are screwed. So remember to turn off weapons you're not using, kids. Very important. Much into it, like I'm 3 missions in, maybe. But it's a really fun game. Like as a management sim, it's really fun having to manage your mechs in your hangar. You have to like pay to repair your shit, and you have to spend time as well. So you have to actually spend a lot of downtime, like just waiting for shit to be done.
Like from what I've heard and seen, Battletech, it has a lot of things in common with XCOM, like modern XCOM, is it?
Yeah, XCOM, but it very much sounds like it very much sounds like exactly like what I heard about XCOM. Like shit you love dies very, very hard, and get ready to save scum.
Yeah, have roles. Is there, right?
My only wish is that you can customize your pilots. Like I want to name them after people. Like I would love to have the Gamer Malaya squad and
Or
just have like Hafiz carry us all to safety in a mech.
And what? See me and Meck dies halfway through.
Exactly. Anan first. The quiet one always goes first.
no,
Have Anan get sniped out of nowhere.
no, he only appears when he needed to. So for the whole mission, the hugging behind walls, not both comes with teeth. So
He's like the mechs in Titan. He drops from all, crushes them. Yeah, that's Anan.
but
Well, yeah, it's really fun. There's a lot of like it's based off a tabletop game, and you definitely feel that in the game because there's stuff like isn't a grid, also kind of a grid. Like you have this, and when you want to move your mech, like it projects a grid around it according to the terrain. And so like you gain evasion for how much you move. You can sprint instead of shooting, you can sprint to double your movement speed, and you gain 2 points of evasion, which makes you harder to hit. Like it's all really cool tabletop stuff, you know. And if you've been listening to this podcast at all, you know that I love Warhammer 40k tabletop, so that's why I wanted to get this game. My few complaints about the game is just that it does not explain any of this shit to you. Like
well,
this is a learn by horrible failure experience.
trial by fire, just the way I like it. Alright, this is totally up my alley.
Yeah, this like I am fully aware like these flaws are entirely mine, like my shitty management skills. But yeah, interesting stuff. Great game.
No,
Looking forward to play more of it as soon as we are done with this podcast.
no, that's how great Battletech is. No, the interesting thing is the developer is by Harebrained Schemes, right?
Yep.
Yeah,
And
and
published by Paradox.
Paradox. One interesting thing is, yeah, the publisher. This is you don't see Paradox publishing like big games. I consider Battletech as a big game because turn-based strategy is pretty much a PC game, and
Yeah.
so to see Paradox tackle you say this kind of a big game outside from their comfort zones of Europa Universalis, where you get to colonize the new world and get slaves, or Crusader Kings 2, where you get to slay infidels or may not do incest. So
It's
this is a very different game under their portfolio. That is interesting. But Harebrained Schemes, they were the ones who also made the new not new, but they made the recent Shadowrun games. Is it Shadowrun? The CRPG game.
Yeah,
Shadowrun. Both IPs were if I remember correctly, were owned by FASA And FASA used to have a relationship with Microsoft, which is why in the 90s you have games like Mech Warrior, which is based on Battletech. That was published by Microsoft.
Yep.
And there was also a game called Shadowrun, which was a cross-platform FPS for games for Windows Live and the original Xbox, I think? Or is it a 360? Suffice to say, that was one of the first cross-platform games. And that game basically, you could say, closed the door for cross-platform games for quite a while, because the skill gap from the PC players who can use mouse and keyboard with the console players who are bound to controllers are significant.
Yeah. That's...
Thankfully, the doors have been opened again. We have figured out how to make the cross-platforming thing works much better with the games.
Is Battletech cross-platform? It doesn't look cross.
Nah. But that was a story from the Microsoft days years back. So Hellblade schemes, they are now they are utilizing both IPs in a better shape and form lah. That's what I want to say actually.
Yeah, I do like this revival of the CRPG though. Like, because CRPGs are a really great genre. I feel like as like RPGs like Fallout be less RPG and more actiony. Like, because if you're not aware, I am not happy with Fallout 4. Like, it was nowhere near as good as New Vegas because it was less RPG. So getting to play like CRPGs like Divinity, Original Sin, and to an extent like games like XCOM and BattleTech, like those, it's really nice. Like, it's nice to see a games like, we don't look pretty necessarily, but God, do we give you shit to do? Like, there's so much shit to do in this game. Like, I'm excited. I like CRPGs. They are increasingly addictive.
Yeah, I'm glad that they get to these kinds of projects, because now that we are going into the news, we are talking about game developers not getting their projects greenlighted.
Yeah, greenlighted. Yeah.
And basically, the story goes like this. Yeah. So, Shadow of the Tomb Raider is a thing. It is now developed by Eidos Montreal instead of Crystal Dynamics. And recently, there has been a report by this one crafty YouTuber called Super Bunny Hop, who has compiled a report where these Canadian developers had at one time pitched a mainline Final Fantasy game. The keyword here is mainline. So the story goes like this. After the success of Deus Ex Human Revolution, that was a good game, right? They tried to pitch a new IP, and when the CEO of Square Enix at the time, Yoichi Wada, saw that project, he said that, hey, why not use it as a Final Fantasy game? Maybe a spin-off at first. But then the project goes a bit more further, and Yoichi Wada actually gave the signal to, hey, why not make this is the numbered Final Fantasy? Because at the time, during the 2011 to 2013 period, Final Fantasy 13 came out and Final Fantasy 14 came out. And we know the state of two of those games at the time.
Terrible.
So, it's a pretty interesting, it's an interesting position to have these developers to be in. And they pitched to Mainline HQ at Japan. And as you expected, because this is 2018 now, it got denied.
You know why it got denied? The real reason it got denied? Not enough Roti Canai.
I mean, I can't complain that, because the whole...
I mean, look at it this way. Look at the game that didn't get denied and how much Roti Canai is in that game. compared to what we know about this game. Did this game mention any Roti Canai? Nope.
No.
Therefore, we can only be assumed that game did not get accepted because there was no Roti Canai in it.
Yeah, the concept of the game at the time was Project W, as in Western Final Fantasy, and then changed to Project Nova, to be pitched as a new IP. The concept that Super Bunny Hop talks about, gathered from his anonymous sources, the setting was a space opera. There was interstellar travel, similar to what we've seen in No Man's Sky. There's a love triangle, and a very distinct art motif where they use fractals a lot. So similar like the X Human Revolution, where they go overboard with the orange tint or the Renaissance triangles, right? So this cancer project was going for fractals. It sounds interesting, but it didn't happen.
That's game development, though, unfortunately. Sometimes your ideas get picked, sometimes they don't.
Yep. I mean,
and maybe if they had put more Roti Canai in the game, it would have gotten picked. Final Fantasy 16, the protagonist is a Roti Canai trying to get to his Tose.
Oh my god.
Oh, and you have the different classes. Like all the different classes are the different types of roti. So you have
Roti
the Roti Planta class.
Roti Planta. Roti Sardin is totally a tank.
Roti Sardin is a tank. Roti... What's this? God, what was it? Oh, and then like the Gladio is a naan. So it Noct is roti, is like the normal like Roti Canai. Ignis is Roti Tissue. Prompto is Roti Kawin. And then Gladio is naan. Yeah, we did it. We did it, guys.
Yep, Final Fantasy 15 Roti Canai edition.
So any game devs want to make a food-based RPG, there you go.
Oh, and all the food in the game is the FF15 characters. Like, you still get the Roti Canai plate, but it's Nocto's face on it. Since you're a Roti Canai.
Man, this Roti Canai RPG has a big potential. No? It's an untapped market.
It's an untapped market. Yeah, but you cannot play it in the afternoon. Just like Roti Canai, you cannot eat it in the afternoon. You can't access the server. You can only get the nasi goreng or whatever.
No, breakfast only. But the perks is the game should be very, very cheap compared to other AAA games.
Oh god, I remember in secondary school, like Roti Canai was 80 cents, and it was so great.
Same.
Remember when AAA games or PS3 games rather was only 180 ringgit? Now it's like 230.
Because now it's like 270 if it's a AAA, dude. It's pricey.
It's pricey, but you know what's not pricey?
Monster Prom. It's 25 ringgit on Steam. Buy it now.
I mean,
also Spider-Man.
I mean, the article we wrote for our coverage on GameMatters.com was about, hey, you can pre-order the game now. But screw pre-orders, man.
No.
But the thing is, the price is actually pretty nice. It is lower than you expect. 209 for the physical copy and 199 for digital.
Yeah, man, save $10. Even though we all know it costs more than $10 to make the thing, to make a physical copy. But yeah.
Yeah, and the thing is, this is a big AAA title from Sony, no less, and it's one of the cheapest so far. And it's not like this is a $50 game outside of the country, no. It is still a $60 title. But here in Malaysia, we got lucky, I guess, with the cheaper price. Yeah?
I think because Shadow of the Colossus is also really cheap, considering the fact that even though it's a remake, like it's a remaster, it's still they remade the game from scratch. I'm starting to wonder if Sony is like intentionally starting to push down their prices.
Oh, that will be good, man.
I mean, I have no data to back this up, but I'm wondering because this is two instances of a game that they would have charged a premium for. Because Spider-Man is a Disney license, right?
Yeah,
So
Marvel
they
by way of
have,
Marvel, yeah.
if any game was going to get a jacked up price, it would be a game associated with Disney. And yet it's cheaper than other AAA games. So I'm starting to wonder, maybe Sony is trying to push down the price of AAA. I hope so. Like, That of War was still like full price, right?
Still
So
full
maybe,
price, like
Yeah.
200 something, 220, 230 something.
yeah.
So yeah, this is an interesting development. Not much to say other than that because yeah, it is an open world game and it is made by Insomniac. So as everyone know, I like Insomniac a lot. Enough for people to give me a Dakikamura. But the thing is, the body pillow of Spyro.
Yeah.
No, seriously, if someone gifted that, I totally accept it. I need a pillow.
Oh god. But yeah, I hope there's like a Sly Cooper like costume in that game.
Oh yeah. So promote all the mascots.
Yeah, man. I
And-
mean, I haven't seen much on the Spider-Man game just because I'm like, it looks like Arkham Combat, and I'm like so tired of Arkham Combat. But I don't know if it's good at launch. I might pick it up. The fact that it's cheap is definitely a plus. Like 200 ringgit. Oh, how I miss you! 200 ringgit price point.
God, what? What? It is interesting time to be alive indeed. And since we talk about mascot platformers just a while back, that leads us to our next topic.
Sonic Mania.
Wait, wrong
What?
title. Sonic Mania sold for 1 million copies. It has
Big
finally sold 1 million copies. Good job, good job.
Good job. You did what Sega couldn't do and made a Sonic game that sells.
And it's true, man. And it loads of a lot of irony because the developers of this Sonic Mania are basically developers who started their career doing fan games, unofficial fan games, fan games that got cease
Mania
and
was a
desist.
fan game, right?
Come again?
Wasn't Mania a fan game at first, and then they were like, "Yo, you've made so many shitty Sonic games. Can you just let us make this one?" And they were like, "Yeah, sure."
From my understanding, is the other way. No. From what I understand, is that the developers, there are a few of the names like Head Cannon, Pagoda
Yeah.
West, right? They've made Sonic fan games before, but not Mania in particular. But they've made games before, and
Yeah.
and one of them also helped ported the game to mobile devices using a brand new engine, but the whole game still feels like the classic game on the Genesis and Mega Drive, those consoles. So impressed with the abilities that these so-called fan developers have done, they've pitched a full Sonic 2D game, and they delivered really well.
And so I just watched the trailer. It looks like there's 2 new characters in the game.
Leading to this is the announcement of Sonic Mania Plus.
Oh yeah, sorry, yeah. I got ahead of us. I forgot we hadn't talked about Sonic Mania Plus yet. Yeah.
But Sonic Mania Plus is a thing. It's basically a DLC, but it is also a new physical copy as well.
Sonic Mania Ultimate Edition, essentially.
Two characters. Characters are added.
Mighty and Ray. They kind of look like what is Mighty supposed to be? He looks kind of.
One of them is an armadillo or something.
Armadillo, yeah.
I think that's Mighty because he looks like he's wearing a helmet of some kind. and then yeah, he kind of just looks like, and the other one's a tanuki, I guess. Like he's some kind of flying mammal.
So basically, reverse Sonic and Tails.
Yeah, essentially, his tanky Sonic and glidey Tails. Yeah, that's a good way of looking at him. Actually, yeah, that's exactly it. That's exactly it. Also, Mighty. I assume Mighty is the armadillo dude. Looks like if you cured Shadow the Hedgehog of his edginess. That's what it looks like.
Yeah, pretty much, I guess. But it looks, yeah, I think improve it a bit more. I think from the original game.
Yeah. It's your standard like Ultimate Edition, I guess, because it's got new features and yeah. Mighty and Ray are back. What? I'm reading the comments. Someone says,
Oh, they might be the one of the old characters from the original Genesis, I think.
Mighty was a member of Chaotix, and Ray, no idea. Okay, they're both in the 1993 arcade game Sega Sonic the Hedgehog, and then Mighty appeared in Chaotix.
So they're not new characters.
They're not new characters, but they may as well be because they have long been forgotten.
So to that obscure fan that says they're back, well, good for you.
Good for you, Amazing Eden on YouTube. Awesome, Amazing Eden. Sorry, mispronounced his name. Yeah, awesome, Amazing Eden. Thank you for the like trivia drop.
Trivia drop. But yeah, let's discuss this. How is Sonic Mania much better than Sonic Forces? How did they screw this up that bad? Sonic Team.
Because Sonic Forces is for people who like 3D Sonic, while Mania is for people who like 2D Sonic.
But nobody likes the 3D Sonics.
No,
Exactly. not to say not many people like it, but there's a hardcore fan base that sort of enjoy those kind of games.
I feel like Forces is for people who like Sonic bracket brand, and Mania is for people who like Sonic bracket game.
Yeah, pretty much.
Because like Sonic Forces is like, oh cool, you know, you have Knuckles and Silver and everyone it has all these characters who you haven't seen in a while, and episode Shadow, and you make your own character. So it's like if you really love the Sonic brand, then yeah, Sonic Forces is great. Whereas like Mania is just like, oh my god, we finally have a 2D Sonic again. Thank you, Sega hasn't fucked this up somehow.
It's not Sega, made by Sega. Haha.
Yeah, but Sega could have still done something to like screw it up.
I mean, it's a pretty enlightening tale where fan games can actually benefit companies.
Yeah,
Rather than-
especially when you've been trying to make a game with your IP forever and you keep fucking it up. Maybe let someone who likes your games try making one.
Right, like like a lot of the fan games, they usually run the risk of getting cease and desist, and to the point that there's a stupid stupid PSA about how fan developers of fan games shut the fuck up. Just once you're done, release. And it stirred a lot of legal conversations around it. It's basically a joke taken seriously.
Well, what do you mean? I don't get it. What's happening?
You have to check the PSA by the YouTube channel Woolly versus about about a public service announcement about fan games. His advice is basically shut the fuck up. Get the game done, release it, and let it go. You are now you cannot cease and desist something that is already public out there. But it's it's not really a good legal advice. It leads to many other technicalities. But when you look at the perspective of us gamers who want to get good games that the developers and the owners of the IP cannot deliver, so we have to resort to fans. This is actually a sound method. in certain
Yeah.
circumstances.
Alternatively, though, you could have the thing that happened with Dems fighting herds.
Oh yeah,
Where
good call.
the My Little Pony fighting game, and then they got cease and desisted to hell, and then the artists like they turned it into their own IP, and it's apparently a really good game. Like my friends who are like pro FGC players were telling me that they prefer it to Dragon Ball.
For real?
It's a legit
Yeah.
anime fighter, seriously.
Yeah, it's really really good apparently. So that's a thing.
And
Should we move on
Yes.
to Valve owns Campo Santo? I don't know who Campo Santo are. What do they do and why does Valve?
Firewatch?
Ah,
So what is Firewatch?
Firewatch
Good
is a
job.
walking sim that
Yeah, I was about to say that. Walking sim.
yeah. So Valve wants to make more walking sims, or are they going to, or did PewDiePie get Valve to buy Campo Santo so that they'd stop complaining about him?
Probably be a both.
It's an interesting story because these two are the unlikeliest to be together. But here we go. We are here.
Dota story mode. It's a walking sim.
Walking sim Dota. Ah, that's a good call.
Oh, maybe they're making Half-Life 3. There's not going to be any more action in it. It's just
Just a
story.
walking sim.
Finally.
Because everyone says that the reason why Half-Life 3 has to be made to finish the story is like, okay, fine, then we won't make it a game then. It's just a walking sim now.
The jokes never run dry with this one. But here's the thing. Campo Santo is still making a new game called In the Valley of Gods. As picture here, where similar to Firewatch, you have like two people talking together and walking around. But now that other person is not somewhere in the woods out there where you have to talk with a walkie-talkie. You have to walk together with them.
Mm-hmm.
So it's that kind of experience, and Valve will be publishing that game.
So will this be part of the Half-Life timeline?
Now that's an interesting question. How do they fit in the Half-Life timeline?
Like I said, man, they're just gonna say, "Oh yeah, this is Half-Life 3."
Oh shit.
Because the setting here is about in the Valley of Gods. It's about two girls, I think, two women, going into an expedition into a Egyptian tomb.
Ooh, that
It's
sounds really cool.
yeah, the premise sounds cool.
20 ringgit says that by the time they reach the tomb, it's actually Black Mesa. Haha.
Oh.
They found aliens. They found the facehuggers.
What's it called?
What's
The
the
head
name
crabs,
again?
yeah.
Head crabs. Headhuggers is another thing.
Yeah, that's a Sega property. That's
Oops. We've moved on already.
Yep. But yeah, that's interesting that Valve is buying games companies considering Valve doesn't make games.
And a lot of their developers are moving out. And also one thing to note, Campo Santo also has made VR assets. So the Firewatch, the game Firewatch, all of those assets, they've actually contributed to what is called the Full Show, I think. It's a VR talk show in a way.
Huh.
And you as an audience, if you have a VR headset, can join the show as a, you can say, as a live audience and see. One of the first prototypes to get that show running was using Firewatch assets. So probably with Valve having like, you say, have flirted a lot with VR, probably they want to use that expertise in some ways.
VR Dota podcast.
No, I was expecting you say VR Dota walking sim, but that's a good one too.
Yeah, so they're gonna talk about like the Dota esports league, and yeah, I guess I don't even know what Valve has been up to.
I mean,
Yeah.
hearing Valve wants to make games is still confusing.
They haven't done anything since Portal 2, right?
I don't think
Like,
so.
they haven't done anything like serious. Like I don't count like updates for Dota and Dota tournament and Dota card game.
Outside of the lab, then I don't think so. The VR thing, right? So
Yeah.
we will see how it goes.
Yeah.
I mean, it will come eventually. And another thing that will come eventually is, please don't put any stupid puns here because that could be anything. What I meant was a FIFA World Cup update. A World Cup update for FIFA 18. Yeah, FIFA 18.
Huh.
Hmm.
So what, you can play as national teams now instead of Oh wait, no, FIFA has always been national team, isn't it?
So the thing is, usually when a World Cup appears, EA will release a standalone game just for the World Cup.
Slide tactics.
So now, now instead of making that one standalone game, they just updated FIFA 18 and call it a day.
I mean, yeah, sure. No one has the money to buy another FIFA. Like everyone who's going to buy FIFA World Cup has already bought FIFA 18. So just yeah.
But this brings the question: will there be another FIFA game after this? Since they can just update the roster like that.
Of course there is. They need their money every year. It's just they have no reason to do it twice. They're doing the not Activision thing. You know, they're not gonna double dip. They're not double dipping. That's what they're doing.
But I would certainly, I wouldn't mind to see a future where we only have one FIFA game constantly updated. FIFA as a service.
We all like that, but we know it's not going to happen because again, anyone who's going to play FIFA is going to buy FIFA.
That's the thing. I would agree on you on that point as well because the people who play FIFA, as you said, most likely are not gamers like us. Probably most of them are the kind of that. Not saying all the players of FIFA, but I'm saying there is a majority of them that just only plays FIFA. So they can afford to buy a FIFA game every year because they don't play any other games.
Yeah, man. I mean, Taylor's has this. They have like these booth areas where students like sell shit, and there's almost always a PS4 booth, and there's almost always people playing FIFA there. It's just like, oh my god.
I mean,
it's not the other games. It's only FIFA.
It's the lowest common denominator.
Yeah. But yeah, so they'll never do FIFA as a service. They'll keep saying that they're treating the next FIFA like a service, but yeah, you're still gonna end up buying. It's like Destiny, you know. It's Destiny times 10.
Yeah, and they're also adding new stuff into their FIFA Ultimate Team with the World Cup update as well, so you can spend more money.
Come back when you got some money, buddy.
Money.
It's FIFA. You know what I want? I want an update for FIFA and also an update for Madden where the rosters switch.
Okay. Go on.
I want to play as like, yeah, it's still you're playing European football, but they're dressed like they're playing American football. You're playing as Tom Brady chasing a ball down.
And seeing the likes of Messi and Cristiano Ronaldo diving, but not intentionally because they got rammed hard.
Yeah, exactly.
No.
I want to see like Leo Messi like run into a crowd and then they all like tackle him down. It'll be great.
No, before he got tackled, he dived first.
Yeah. And
And
then
the
you do the
fake-
same with NBA and F1. You swap those over as well.
Good God, those people are like 6 foot tall, fitting into the F1 car.
No, it's them running, and then the F1 cars are all playing basketball.
Oh god. Rocket League all over.
Aduh.
Oh yes, Rocket League basketball. I didn't know we needed that, but we do.
I mean, there is a mode with Rocket League basketball, right?
Yeah.
Where you shoot hoops, but not as what described. But there is a mode similar like that too in Rocket League already.
Oh god, no. So you have it like it's an F1 race, so you have to like go around the circuit. The hoop is at the start line, so you have to be holding the ball when you reach the lap line.
If you miss the lap, it's not
Yeah, then
counted.
you have to go another. Yeah, you have to do another lap to get another chance to shoot.
And if you want to do a slam dunk, if you pull a slam dunk, it's less risky, but it consume more time. So there's a strategy involved. So it replaces the tire strategy in the pit stops.
Yeah, I'm telling you, man. We should just get hired to make games. That's...
Oh, yeah.
I mean, we'll make better games than David Cage probably.
Yep.
I mean, okay, put David Cage and let him see our concept of an F1 race where each driver have to slam a dunk. No, not slam a dunk. Shoot some hoops every lap and have him see sad. Oh, I cannot figure out this.
That's your fault, man. You're the player. You fucked this up. And then he'll just retire. He'll just be like, God damn, why didn't I come to F1 basketball? God damn. Okay, I think F1 basketball is the perfect place to end an episode.
Because I don't know where else we can go. We started with F1 talk for some reason.
Nice.
So we close it with again an F1 talk. Bookends.
So I think if we have to edit the thumbnail because we can't just post that David Cage thumbnail. Can we put Mika Hakkinen in the thumbnail as well?
Sure.
This is Mika Hakkinen next to Willem Dafoe or something. Or replace David Cage with Mika Hakkinen. Yeah, that's perfect. A+.
Too much material for me to read. But where do we slot in the Roti Canais?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
We have Roti Canai, we have F1 basketball, and we have David freaking Cage. How do we remix all of this?
Put it on Ellen's face.
Ooh.
God. Okay, yeah. My computer went black.
Oh.
No, it's fine. It didn't go all black. It just the screen dimmed.
Okay.
Too spicy.
Too spicy.
No, those are hints of upcoming censorship. So yeah, I probably cannot figure out a good one yet. So we have to take the discussion off camera because we are now at the end of dia.log, the Gamer Matters podcast. It is a roller coaster ride indeed, where we start out low and we end, I don't know, middling high.
I mean, that's an optimistic way of looking at it, yeah.
Yeah, we went from twisty turns, from the cold to the hot stuff. We went from Roti Canais to
basketball
to podcast of VR Dota. Yeah, we covered a lot of things that may or may not be video games. So yeah, that is the end. Let's just chill our panel. So, chilling time.
Follow me on Twitter at Wamero. Convention coming up soon, and therefore Like once I start hearing back from conventions, you're gonna be hearing out of conventions. Also, next week is the election. If you're a registered voter, go fucking vote. Don't just complain about shit. Go vote and vote responsibly. Don't do any of that undi rosak bullshit. Like, actually vote. If you're gonna bother lining up to go get your ballot, like research your candidates, get your IC. Don't pick a fight with anyone. Don't wear logos to the voting station. They will kick you out. And finally, like, there's lots of rumors about voter fraud. Don't be a dick if someone doesn't look like they're from the country. Don't do that. Vote responsibly, guys, and be safe. Daniel.
Yeah, you can follow me on Twitter at Flaky. That is FL4KY. And like me, Ramiro, just vote, please. We don't want another 5 years of torture. Thanks.
And this should be an slot for promotion, but of course he is not here. Please pay respects to Anand again. F.
Plus F.
Yeah, Ghost of Anand. Please help him with his masters from Beyond the Grave. It'll be the first posthumous masters.
And you can find your lovely host Amiral Mekronos Ashraf as Mekronos Meckronos everywhere. In particular Twitter, go find me there. And that's it. That's the end of the podcast.
Also, if you want to sponsor us, please do.
You can contact us at hi@gamermalaya.my. And that's your last plugin. So have a good day, everyone. Don't forget to vote for Malaysians. And hopefully, the next time you will be hearing us, we'll live in a new dawn.
Now we're gonna get sent to the incinerator. We know it.
Yeah, I was going there too. And prosthetics. I'm looking forward to my new leg.
I'm just gonna be a tall boy.
Yeah.